Criminal Minds, Evolution Season 3, Episode 3 features JJ and the BAU say goodbye to Will. There are so few happy, stable marriages in Criminal Minds that JJ and Will truly stood out as a bright spot in the BAU. JJ and Will's relationship spanned 15 years. Will, a southern charmer who turned out to be the perfect partner for JJ, supported her through her training to rise from communications liaison to full-fledged profiler while raising 2 sons together. Will's sudden death in Criminal Minds, Evolution Season 3, Episode 2 was somewhat foreshadowed by his health scare in Season 1, but it still came rather abruptly. While Will was never going to be one of the main characters in Criminal Minds, Evolution Season 3, the show still gave him a fitting farewell. Will's funeral even paved the way for Spencer Reid's return to Criminal Minds, Evolution, making the episode feel like even more of an event. The BAU's breakthrough on the Sicarius case explained. Voight's memories are starting to come back, but does it matter with different brain chemistry? Because David Rossi seems to have a positive effect on Elias Voight, he begrudgingly agrees to spend more time with him. Interestingly, he is not posing as Voight's father. Voight is aware that Dave is there in his capacity as an FBI agent. The BAU's policy seems to be giving Voight as little information as possible, so he is forced to remember his past on his own without prejudice. Ross's ameliorating effect on Voight is a peculiar aspect of his recovery. The show has seemingly confirmed Voight's amnesia from the Criminal Minds, Evolution Season 2 ending is real, as the audience sees fragmented memories alongside him as he gets his memories back. When Rossi presses him to remember how they know each other, Voight gets flashbacks to bits of his kidnapping of Dave in Criminal Minds, Evolution Season 1, although he confuses it with a camping trip. The BAU makes an ethically dubious call to bring in Voight's only surviving victim aside from Rossi, Ramona Havener from Criminal Minds, Evolution Season 1. Ramona was a real estate agent with an unfortunate resemblance to Voight's wife Sydney and an office on 2nd Street, Voight's hunting ground. Voight kidnapped Ramona and had her roleplay as his wife so he could confess all his crimes and be forgiven, though she barely survived the ordeal. If it comes to a trial, Ramona is willing to be the voice of the 61 victims who can't speak for themselves. Even though Voight doesn't remember her, she remembers him and his confession, making her an important tool for the BAU's case against Voight as Sicarius. Criminal Minds, Evolution Season 3, Episode 3 ends with him in a very broken place. Voight is feeling guilt for crimes he doesn't yet remember, the opposite of the Sicarius monster the BAU hunted. With a subtle nod from Tara, Rossi physically comforts a sobbing Voight. How JJ and the BAU says goodbye to Will. JJ's vacantness shatters in a devastating eulogy. 5 days after Will's death in Criminal Minds Season 3, Episode 2, Prentice and Garcia are concerned by how well JJ seems to be holding up. JJ appears to be in shock, handling logistics with a vacant methodicalness. JJ first begins to crack when she sees her younger son, Michael, wearing one of Will's ties gifted to him by his dad as they're heading to the funeral. Mrs. LaMontagna, her mother-in-law, is being unbelievably self-centered in her grief, suggesting her pain is worse than JJ's because losing a child is unnatural. Rossi works his magic and connects with her by sharing his own story of losing an infant, which she insists is different. However, Rossi encourages her not to let her relationship with her son's family die along with her son, which gets Mrs. LaMontagna to apologize to JJ. Of course, the behavioral analysis unit shows up to support JJ. Aaron Hotchner and Derek Morgan do not appear, but send stunning flower bouquets for the funeral. Prentice speaks, sharing how a near-death experience is what made Will know he wanted to marry JJ. Garcia also shares an anecdote about how Will made everyone feel cherished. In a heartwarming if not shocking moment, Spencer Reid appears at the funeral at the last minute to support his best friend and his godsons when they need him the most. JJ starts to express all the feelings she had been suppressing as she gives her eulogy. JJ reads some of the post-it notes Will left for her each and every morning, until his last. Part of the reason she has been so stoic is that JJ blames herself for not catching Will's health issue, feeling like she is responsible for his death. She is not sad but angry at herself and at her boys. She is also angry at Will himself, as they've gotten through everything as partners, and now she is left by herself. Why Matthew Gray Gubler returns as Spencer Reid in Criminal Minds, Evolution Season 3. Spencer Reid comes to the funeral to support his best friend and godson. Matthew Gray Gubler as Reid in Criminal Minds Season 15, Episode 2, looking thoughtful. JJ always had a special connection with Matthew Gray Gubler's Dr. Spencer Reid. JJ and Reid's friendship even tipped into a romance that Criminal Minds, Evolution now seems to be pretending never happened. Scheduling conflicts have always been the cited reason for Gubler not returning to Criminal Minds, although from a story perspective there was always room left open for Reid to come back. It makes sense that if Sicarius was not a big enough reason to compel Reed to return, it would be something emotional, like supporting JJ through Will's funeral. As predicted, Spencer returns for Will's funeral in the nick of time. Reed's entrance is given the movie star treatment. It's a small moment that shows Spencer also has a relationship with JJ's kids even if the audience hasn't been privy to it. Hearing the kids call him Spence, JJ's private nickname for him, is an emotional moment. Spencer gets a montage reunion with everyone in the BAU, another long-awaited fan payoff. Criminal Minds, Evolution has not forgotten how JJ and Reed have supported each other through the hardest moments. However, his line, "I'm always here for you guys," rings a little hollow when he has not been seen and was only mentioned in passing for 3 seasons. Will's final birthday present for Michael explained. Henry was hiding Will's homemade present for his brother Michael. JJ Lockett Henry Michael Criminal Minds, 1. JJ becomes desperate to find the present Will bought and hid for Michael before he passed. It appears that she is channeling her actual grief over Will's death into a manic hunt for the gift. Its importance is ceremonial, as the last present will ever give either of their children. Criminal Minds, Evolution Season 3, Episode 3 closes the case of the missing birthday present in a surprisingly sweet way. JJ finds their older son, Henry, reading the La Montagna How-To Guide, a handmade book Will made for Michael to pass on his wisdom. Henry apologizes for swiping the book a few days before Will died, which is why JJ couldn't find it. He says he knows most of the stuff in the book already, so he volunteers to help guide Michael the way Will would want him to. Will La Montagna was a great father, and his influence will continue to serve JJ's boys even after his tragic passing.